Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 11 of season 5 of our F1 22 My Team Career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend. We've reached the halfway stage of season 5 and we return to the Styrian Mountains for the Austrian Grand Prix. If you missed out on the video that went live towards the end of last week from Silverstone, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. We've had quite a few dramatic races in recent weeks, big championship permutations, so there will be spoilers in just a second. But of course, you know, I mentioned it in the last video. Well, I suppose now the next goal is 110,000 subscribers. So if you're not already, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed if you go on to enjoy the content. But yeah, championship-wise though, Lando Norris then leads the way 9 points clear of our teammate Charles Leclerc. We're still in P3 and now only 32 points back from the championship lead. However, we do come into this race on a 2-race win streak. Now, I don't think, gone 3 race victories in a row on F1 22. It just seems I can win 2 quite easily in a row. In fact, quite often I do. But 3 in a row has continued to haunt me here on this game. Can we change that this weekend here in Austria? Of course, it is a sprint weekend, so we are going to have even more action than normal. Let's find out. Let's head out then here to Austria. Well, the action then immediately kicking off here in Q1. We've gone out onto the track pretty much as early as I sensibly could, and looks like we're going to see some changeable conditions then. There's often been the theme here in Austria, so this first lap is going to have to be really critical then, with not many cars out on the circuit. If we can go quicker, of course, than anyone will be able to achieve on the intermediates, that might be us safely into Q2, obviously immediately there. So, you know, it's these sessions that can really have big championship skews, of course. You know, Charles Leclerc a couple of weekends back in Canada, of course, knocked out in Q1. You can see one of the Alfa Romeos just up in front of me. But yeah, could we get some big surprises then already? I've just got to try and get this lap hooked up. Grip's still definitely there, so if we don't make a mistake, we'll be quicker than the intermediates, as Kevin Magnussen goes quickest in his Aston Martin. Zhou Guanyu a whole lot quicker in his McLaren. Still, sometimes I have to remember who's gone where in this series, but it might be slightly easier to keep up with now the Haas RTG is done. Rounding through the final corner, make sure we get the car nicely over that yellow inside curve there, up towards start-finish line. It's not going to be as good as the time set by Zhou Guanyu, 1.6 seconds away. But that should be enough to see us straight into Q2. Then you can see just how heavily it's raining in the background there. But Zhou Guanyu fastest in Q1 there. Kevin Magnussen, yeah, and his Aston Martin makes it through to Q2. I think the first time this year they get out of Q1. Sergio Perez out though in Q1 here for the Austrian Grand Prix. No other particularly major surprises, though I guess Drogovic probably a bit gutted, and Piastri has been doing quite well. But it's meant to get stormy in Q2. I feel like we had a similar story last season here in Austria, where everyone went out in Q2 on a set of full wets, but it looks like we might just reach a crossover point right at the end of the session. I'm only going to be able to get 1 lap out there. I had a couple of mistakes on my earlier run, so now we've just got to go for it and try to be the last car onto a qualifying lap. The rain is getting lighter and lighter. Charles Leclerc set a 15.1 as the benchmark, but honestly I'm surprised that no one else has taken this gamble. We're only going to get 1 shot at this. We have to make it count, as this is, yeah, quite a step into the unknown. Whoa, once again here in Austria, big wobble through turn 1. Lucky we rattled the car over the sausage curb, which kind of straightened it back out as we head up the hill in towards turn 2 there. How's the sector 1 time looking? Of course, only really the 1 corner, but still quarter of a second up on Alex Albon. That is reassuring. Should hopefully be quicker than the Williams, but it's still going to be difficult around the rest of the lap. Charles Leclerc goes fastest then, so clearly times are improving. Just got to try and cadence brake our way down into the hairpin there. I mean, it doesn't matter too much if we miss the apex. That matters though. Big chunk of wheel spin on corner exit there, as we can see one of the Ferraris just extending the gap slightly up the road. Whoa, yeah, this might not have been such a wise choice there. 2/10 down on Pierre Gasly as we come to the end of sector 2, and I cannot find the pace at the moment. Gasly has now gone fastest as well, so even further away. Times are dropping on those full wet tyres, but the Delta reckoned we were only going to be a few tenths away, and it was dropping there. It was round in the final corner here in Q2. Will we be making it through into Q3? No, we won't. It's P14 on the grid for the Austrian GP. Luckily, we've got the sprint race to help us out, but that has been a disaster. Clearly, those tyres weren't far away there. I mean, we pretty much matched the time Charles Leclerc set on his first run, but I was not expecting those full wet tyres to continue improving the way they did there. Charles Leclerc makes it into Q3, but we're out in Q2 then for the Austrian Grand Prix. Like I said, luckily we've got the sprint race to try and recover some places, but we are going to be on a mission this weekend if we want to try and get 3 wins in a row.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Ocon, Gasly, Guan Yu Zhou and Bottas, Mick Schumacher, Ricciardo, Tsunoda and Yuri Vips, Daruvala, Tictum, Alex Albon, Mr. Monaco, Stroll, Magnussen, Felipe Drugovich and Oscar Piastri, Latifi, Théo Pourchaire, Schwartzman and Sergio Perez completes our grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Right, here we are then trackside for the Austrian GP. Luckily, all the rain was meant to arrive on Friday, so we should get through the rest of the weekend without too many issues there. But as always, in the sprint race, I'm going to gamble it. We're going to go soft tyres here, ready for this one. I'm going to bring down the front wing ever so slightly as well. I upped it for qualifying to help us in those changeable conditions. Clearly didn't do much help, but of course, yeah, we need some straight line speed, we need some overtaking power here today. If we can try and get back towards the top 8, you know, score a couple of points here, soften the blow to Charles and Lando, that will be quite important there. Yeah, Lando Norris starting right at the front of the field. This is going to be a very, very important weekend. It feels like every weekend is incredibly important in this series. It's always quite a tricky balance on these formation laps, especially when you're starting on the softs, because you don't know how much you can really take out of the tyres, how well they'll go in these sprint races. But try and put a little bit of heat then into the rears as we line up on the grid. We've got Alex Albon and Dan Tictum just in front of us, of course, both former Dams drivers in Formula 2. Stroll and Magnussen just behind us. It is a very, very mixed up grid here for the Austrian GP sprint race. Will we get back to where we belong? 5 red lights. Very long hole, but it is lights out, and away we go. Of course, never going to get a good start on F122, but look at Magnussen carving his way through as we head up in towards turn 1. Then we've got another car on the inside, and that was a gap that was always going to disappear from me there as Oscar Piastri tried to have a look there. I think we just squeezed out Felipe Drugovich off of turn 1, so we're going to be going wheel to wheel with the AlphaTauri car as we head up the hill, and often I like to try and get to the inside ready for turn 3. Are we going to see Piastri try to be as brave? Yes, we are. They're up the inside of Albon. Oh, there is contact, as we've got to try and jump out the way of the Williams car there, and that was more like touring cars at the top. Where's Pourchaire in all of this? Oh, there he is in the Aston Martin. I think we could have really done a whole lot about Théo. So Piastri again trying to go aggressively, and we have just been at the wrong place at the wrong time on this opening lap there. Really have to shuffle backwards as Pourchaire's still behind me, I swear. Obviously, it's Magnussen that's further up the road, but we might have to try and work with Sergio Perez over the course of these 12 laps. So, yeah, no idea where we got involved in an incident with Pourchaire at the top of the hill, but I guess no harm, no foul. As we head down in towards the final couple of corners. Contact there, I think that was between Lance Stroll and Kevin Magnussen through the final corner. And now we're going to be able to get a run there. As you see, Magnussen now under pressure from Alex Albon as we head back down towards turn 1. We've got to go slow in, fast out through this first corner there. They'll all Constantine are up. It's got a tiny bit of contact with Oscar Piastri. I think somehow we got away with that one without any front wing damage. Sergio Perez, of course, again, Red Bull's home weekend for that team. They'll be wanting to try and put on a show as 3 wide at the top of the hill there, between those cars in front of me, and we cannot put the power down. Sergio Perez there down around the outside. We need to get these tyres up to scrub. We need to get on with it, because already quite a gap forming to the cars in front, down the inside of Checo Perez. They'll have to pop over the curbing slightly, because I didn't know if he was going to turn in. And now I think we've finally got these tyres up to where they should be. We've got to try and march forward as Kevin Magnussen, that Aston Martin, still by far and away the slowest car on this current grid there, and you can see just how much that Aston Martin struggles. Kevin Magnussen, of course, the Dane, got that Viking spirit within, but yeah, certainly does not have a car that matches that mentality. Up into P16 back we go, but we have got a lot of work to do. Well, luckily the AI like to just battle each other so aggressively around this circuit. You can see Alex Albon trying to have a look around the outside of Jehan Daruvula back in towards turn 1. Are they going to hold each other up? This was the run I tried to get on lap 2 there. Switch back on Oscar Piastri through the first corner. Now as we head up the hill, we're going to try and have a look around the outside of Jehan Daruvula. They're trying to open up the run. He's going to have a look up the inside of Albon. Oh, Daruvula! What is that? Jehan Daruvula just tried to throw both Albon and I off into the shadow realm there, as we're still going to be side by side with the Haas off the corner. Somehow I've not got damage from that. I mean, if that had been real life Formula 1, there would have probably been a barrel roll involved with one of those cars there. Piastri somehow moving back up the inside as well, but now we're into P13 then, and that is somehow how you overtake 3 cars here. Well, welcome to Austria, ladies and gents. This is just how the AI race around this venue. Now we've got a bit of clear air though. 3 seconds up to Stroll.
Okay, stand by.
No. No. Come on. We can't be getting more mechanical issues on F122. I was going to mention in the intro, actually, just how cursed we've been around this Austrian GP circuit with mechanical failures. We cannot be starting at the back, ready for the feature race here in the Styrian Mountains. We can see cars up the road going side by side.
5 laps of fuel remaining.
5 laps of fuel remaining, 5 laps of racing to go, but go on, do it, EA. Yeah, there we go, of course. Let's see if we can still try and overtake Tictum.
Okay, this is serious. Apologies for that.
That's one way to do it, I suppose.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Well, not the result our points leader would have wanted, but it certainly makes things interesting going forward. It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. No change in the top spot then, but with today's points, their hold on that lead is getting weaker. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today, as they make their way up the standings. With the sprint wrapped up, we now have our grid line up for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
Well, there we go then. There is clearly something ingrained in this game to stop me trying to win 3 races in a row there. Charles Leclerc takes the win in the sprint ahead of Lando Norris. Gasly, Ocon, Ricciardo with Zhou Guanyu, Bottas and Mick Schumacher rounding out our top 8 there. But yeah, 2 years in a row I've had a mechanical failure in the sprint. And if I remember correctly, last season we then got the glitch in the pit lane in the main event that meant that the AI just kept crashing into a wall, no matter what I could do there. Championship-wise, of course, it means we lose even more ground to the top runners, of course, so far away, though, from P4. Lando Norris now with just an 8-point lead over Charles Leclerc there, but 39 points back. It is a weekend of damage limitation, apparently, for ourselves. We've got to get on with it, though. Let's get in to the Austrian Grand Prix.
Welcome from the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of the Austrian Grand Prix. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of around 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill of turn 3. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Gasly, Ocon, Daniel Ricciardo and Joe, Bottas, Mick Schumacher, Stroll and Yuki Tsunoda, Yuri Vips, Oscar Piastri, Daniel Ticktum and Perez, Albon, Drugovic, Jehan Daruvala and Nicholas Latifi, Schwartzman, Magnussen, Théo Pourchaire and Mr. Monaco. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat is Anthony Davidson. And our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching out for as they head into turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into turn 1 as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
Right, well here we are then, ready for the main event from the Austrian GP circuit. Sprint race, yeah, again, was rather tough. I just remembered as well, of course, we haven't actually survived a sprint race so far this season, but will the main event be any better there? Of course, the mediums can probably go quite a long way. We're going to find out whether the mediums can go quite a long way, and then we'll try and bolt on a set of softs towards the end of the afternoon. But yeah, Austria, you're very, very likely to get a safety car around this circuit as well. I've put a completely fresh engine in the back of the car. We may as well just take all new components if I was starting last anyway. So yeah, let's see what we can do though today. We've really just got to try and carve our way through damage limitation and try and score some points. Oh, I never like starting right at the back here on F122, especially around a track like Austria where the racing can be so chaotic, but you know, Austria can giveth and Austria can taketh away, I suppose is probably the right way to describe this place. It said 0.0, I thought that was bang on, but apparently not. 5 red lights though here in the Styrian Mountains once again. Very long hold once more, but it is lights out, and away we go. I mean, you can see the Aston Martins there both trying to find a way down in towards that first corner. Théo Pourchaire looking to the outside of Robert Schwartzman there. Kevin Magnussen looking to the inside of Robert Schwartzman as... Whoa, over that curving. Car clearly did not want to grip up there off of turn 1. Luckily just able to gather it back up, but no places gained as we head up in towards turn 3. Schwartzman, mate, come on. I understand you want to have a look back at the inside of Kevin Magnussen, but moving aggressively that far across is not going to do us, either of us, any favours there as we plunge back down the hill in towards turn 4 then. Again, going to try and look up the inside. Do not want to be spending my afternoon stuck behind these cars as Robert Schwartzman again will try and cover me off. It looks like the top 3 at the start of this race, of course, including both my championship rivals, have got away quite cleanly there and are going to try and break free at the front of the field early on. But yeah, we just need to find, you know, a new level of calm, a new level of patience ready for this GP today. Of course, like I said, Austria can be so frantic when it comes to the racing. We've just got to play it smart. It can easily go wrong around this venue, as we found out many times before there. But Lando Norris then leading the way at the end of lap 1. Schwartzman trying to get back around the outside of Théo Pourchaire there as we head back down towards turn 1. Like I said, Aston Martin have just got such little car performance there as Théo Pourchaire really going to try and fight it, but we'll wave goodbye to the pair of them as we head up the hill. Alfa Romeo seems to have some pretty okay straight line speed, but up at a P19 then. Got Jehan Daruvala next car in front of me as someone's having a look back up my inside. I think that was Théo. We live to fight another day. Luckily, he doesn't fire it in as aggressively as he did in the Saudi sprint over the weekend in F2. Oscar Piastri there, and I think that is the other Alfa Romeo of Dan Ticktum up the road, getting very feisty with each other, and this just leaves a big concertina effect. So we head back down towards turn 1. Latifi going 3 wide there, whoa, through the first corner, and I wanted to try and get the switch back. We do get the switch on Jehan Daruvala out of turn 1, but this is what I mean. Austria is just so full of carnage here as we head up the hill to the inside of... Oh, I'm so sorry, Nicholas Latifi, but I guess we've returned the favour of what he did to others. Mark apparently happy with our touring car-style dive bomb there to the inside of the Merc, but we've got away with it with just a warning as Albon will slot in behind Felipe Drugovic, who again is picking up the places. DRS enabled should make things slightly easier. Alex Albon not able to get the run off of that final corner in his Williams to the outside as we head in towards turn 1. He'll brake late, I'll switch him back, or I'll go right around the outside there. Often the AI, if they're on the inside, will absolutely try and steamroll into the apex, but yeah, a nice tidy move for a change Still got Piastri and Tictum going side by side a bit further up the road. And this is allowing Dragovic and I just to close it. Piastri having a look to the inside of Tictum down in towards the final couple of corners. That is a very, very scary place to make a move. And Tictum... Whoa! Okay, that's the most accidental double overtake I'll ever pull off on F122. They're down the middle as Tictum locked up. Daruvalo was still trying to catch the slide and somehow kind of ended up there and somehow no contact in that moment. But yeah, we found Oscar Piastri was actually very, very quick during yesterday's sprint race there. I'm not even able to have a look at the inside through turn 1, but clearly there is still a little bit, you know, if there's something out there, the EA gods, clearly there's still a little bit of them shining down on me, because, yeah, normally that would not have ended well. Over the back of Oscar, though, back down in towards turn 1, didn't think about having a look to the inside, but it's not really worth it, especially when we can get that sort of run off the corner there to the left-hand side, as we head back up the hill through fake turn 2. I still don't believe it's real turn 2. And up towards the top of the hill, we have already closed back up to Sergio Perez. And I mean, yeah, 6 laps in, we've been overtaken 9 cars here. It should be cars we're never behind, but we are making good progress. Sergio Perez there, a bit of a mistake at the top of the hill. Went way too early into our apex, and you know what? We should be able to get the run as we head down the hill. Red Bull's certainly not in a state to be consistently winning Grand Prix in this season. Of course, one in Miami a few weeks back with Checo himself. Very, very odd race victory for them, but of course helped out by a few of the big names, myself included. Rather unsurprisingly for us, apparently having a mechanical failure, but yeah, the points are right there then, so we're not doing badly early on in this race. Slightly wide as we head through turn 6, but we're keeping up, we're doing well. Going to see Tsunoda get a run on Yuri Vips. Are we going to be able to get a run on Yuki Tsunoda? We can see, we'll try and have a look to the inside. Just get it slowed down there as Tsunoda, he'll go right around the outside of the Estonian rookie and say thank you very much there. So we were definitely wrong place at the wrong time. Can we get a run down the hill though on the Williams car? We'll go to the inside. He will spot me there rather nicely. I think Yuri Vips might just have the grip on the exit of the corner. I have to sit behind him for now. But yeah, like I said, AlphaTauri have got a quick car at the moment. It's certainly not too far away from the front runners, and I think he's giving Red Bull quite a few headaches as well. Now we might be able to get a run though on Yuri Vips as we head down in towards the final couple of turns. Side by side once again. We'll swoop through, we'll get it just on the curbing. But we've got to make sure as well, of course, we stay inside the DRS range of Yuki Tsunoda. For exactly this reason, we should, theoretically, even from this far back, be able to get a run up in towards turn 2. That'll promote us into the point, so that'll make it even easier. Tsunoda way too overzealous on the throttle as we head out of the first turn, but as we head up the hill then to the outside of Yuki Tsunoda, wave goodbye to the Japanese driver. He's still going to try and keep the nose there. He actually run very, very deep, and all that confident talk I said about gaining the place has just completely undone itself. So he is start around if we can try and get a run then on Yuki at turn 1. That time he's a bit more careful on the loud pedal, but again to the outside just like we did with his teammate a few laps ago. Should be nice and simply done. And lap 10, we're into P10 of this GP, so every place now, of course, we gain is a bonus. But we've just got to keep the pace up. Right, well, this would have been the final lap of the sprint race then, so we've actually made more progress than we ever did in the sprint anyway. Just was really in the wrong place at the wrong time during that race. But to the outside then of Sir Lancelot as we head back up the hill. It's going to be another place gained.
Gap to the car in front is 3.1 seconds.
Nice and easily done there on Sir Lance. And yeah, every place of course we gain now is a big bonus and much more damage limitation. Next up Bottas, but we are getting close to when the AI might start hitting. It really does depend whether they're doing medium hard or medium soft. Oh, what's going on at the top of the hill there? Mick Schumacher running a little bit deep under the pressure from Valtteri Bottas. This will help me get a bit closer, as are we now going to see a Flying Finn get a run down the hill. He's going to think about it, but Mick Schumacher again defending for all his worth, of course. We saw him score points in the real-life Austrian Grand Prix here, but Bottas can't do anything to get around him just yet. This is, however, really helping me. And Bottas, I want to see you getting a run on the young German as we head up the hill. No, he's not. We're actually going to get immediately on the offensive there to the inside of Valtteri Bottas. Of course, not the first time we've gone wheel-to-wheel on F122. The Flying Finn will try and keep me there on the inside. Not close enough to Mick Schumacher to go for anything, but oh, how the tables have turned from defending from Valtteri in his McLaren days to pulling moves off him in his Red Bull era. It's really not been a move that has worked out as well as any of us anticipated. And we are up into P8. So we start lap 16. Hopefully Mick Schumacher is going to be easy pickings, just like his teammate Lance Stroll was a few laps prior there. Big wobble by the Alpine off turn 1, and yeah, easy there. Now up into P7 then of this GP, and I think still at the front of the field, Norris even, and Leclerc are still battling it out. So we might be going slightly quicker. Let's wait and see. Where's teammate status? I can't remember my buttons. There we go. Ooh, okay. Looks like that was Pierre Gasly into the pit lane then. Didn't spot that on my mini-map. So AI then look to be going mediums to hards. So if we can keep these mediums in good nick, which, let's have a look, we are doing pretty well at. Get them another 10 laps or so. We could be a lot quicker towards the end of this race. And we are going quicker than Charlie Boy. Here we go. Charles Leclerc into the pit lane. Lando Norris opting to stay out just a little bit longer. These are the laps where you're likely to get a safety car here in Austria, just due to the nature of the pit lane entry. Yeah, we should be ahead then of Charles. You can see Ricciardo and Esteban Ocon both peeling into the pit lane as well. Always forget those two were teammates. It was only for a season. But yeah, it was a very, very weird time in the world of Formula 1 there. Charles Leclerc heading back out the pit lane. He's on hard to see him through to the end. We're into P3. There we go, as we cross half distance. Lando Norris and Zhou Guanyu both into the pit lane then. So now we've gone from last to first in half a GP here. But we're going to have to monitor that gap to Charles and Lando. And of course, try and, like I said, extend these tyres because we could be mighty fast towards the end. It looks like Lando has been jumped by Charles Leclerc there. We've got 6 seconds over the pair of them for now. Will that gap go up? Will that gap go down? This is critical laps in this Grand Prix. Oh, we got yellow flags out. Someone's got issues a bit further back. I think it might have been one of the Alfa Romeos or an Aston Martin. It's one of the Alphas. Is it Dan Ticktum? Yes, it is. Out of yet another Grand Prix there, and we might have been able to do something if we got a safety car that moment, but looks like we're not going to get one. Charles Leclerc, yeah, I don't know how he's been able to get such a big jump on Lando Norris, but Ferrari are probably left scratching their heads. There we go, Charles Leclerc showing the pace he's got in the sister car. 105.1. Of course, we should be able to snooker our way fast to that bonus point. But honestly, I'm looking at it going, a podium might still be doable here. Oh, lap 25 really now are starting to struggle with these tyres as Charles Leclerc has closed up the gap behind me. Yeah, really, you know, there was a small part of me that was hoping maybe we'll get a nicely timed safety car or something like that late on this afternoon, but we are going to have to peel in at the end of this lap. Do 11 laps left on the softs. Okay, that might give us a fighting chance then for P2 still in this Grand Prix, but I think honestly, psychologically, as long as we come 4th or higher, no, if with Lando Norris and P2, I think we could be about 5th or 6th. I want to make sure we're still within 2 race victories of Charles Leclerc in the championship. That's the big goal at the moment, of course, 39 points back as we came into this main event. As we peel down into the pit lane, hopefully Charles Leclerc isn't going to do anything stupid like crash into the back of me. So it's just about get around me there, but loses a little bit of time in the process as we head into the pit lane then for the first time, and hopefully only time today. 10-11 laps to go of the Austrian GP. We're probably going to come out just behind Pierre Gasly in his Merc. We might just be behind Mick Schumacher in his Alpine. But yeah, it looks like there's a big gaggle of cars battling just behind them. We should be, though, the fastest car on the track between now and the end of the race. On 2 stages, softer tyres, 10 laps fresher tyres than a lot of the field. Let's try and recover to a good result. We rejoin P8. Where will we finish? It's only taken us 1 lap out of pit lane, and we've already closed up to Mick Schumacher. We might have to look after these tyres a little bit towards the end of the GP, but let's wait and see. Of course, we need to try and also make sure that we get that fast lap bonus point. We open up the DRS battery as well, engaged. So we head down the hill. Mick Schumacher will try and go defensive, but there's no real point. We've got so much more grip than the Alpine. That will be another nice, easy overtake. At the final corner, surely this will be new fast lap. Close to the 3s. 4.4's not bad. Should be enough to solidify us. But yeah, would like to have been down towards the 3s. A big gaggle of cars in front of us. Zhou Guanyu, Pierre Gasly, 3 seconds clear. this might just be where things get a little bit more difficult as we start lap 30. Just a little gaggle of cars here, both McLaren's, Ricciardo and Pierre. We've got to try and be really, really careful there, as that is Esteban Ocon. Have a look to the outside of Daniel Ricciardo. We'll have a look to the inside of Pierre Gasly there. A Verstappen on Leclerc style move at the top of the hill. We get a warning for it. Yeah, fair enough, I think. In that moment, I think the move was on, but certainly still aggressive anyway. As Ricciardo's locked up, that's going to allow Ocon to get by, and Zhou Guanyu is going to try and capitalise in the second McLaren car as we head down the hill in towards turn 5 and turn 6, and we're just left with nowhere to go at the moment. Zhou Guanyu forced to back out of that one on the Australian, as can we try and get a run off the corner to the inside of Zhou Guanyu. There might have been a tiny bit of contact there, but I think we all get away with it. Again, apparently that's a warning for myself. Oh yeah, behave FIA, come on. You've got to have some proper racing around this venue. Is now to the inside of Daniel Ricciardo. 3 cars overtaken inside a lap there, and surely Ocon is going to be vulnerable as well as we head up the hill. He's got a little bit of freedom from the Ferrari car behind him, but to the inside of Esteban Ocon, we're going to try and have a look. No, we're not. We'll go back to the outside as we get to the top of the hill there. Ocon trying to do everything he can in that McLaren, but round the outside we'll go. And I was a bit worried it was going to take us quite a few laps to get past those 4, but we've done it in the space of 1. Lando Norris still struggling up the road, 7 seconds with 5 laps left to go. Can we get to that Ferrari? Well, I think the answer to that question then is a resounding no. Unfortunately, yeah, these soft compound tyres, definitely the right choice, but yeah, don't quite able to provide the grip we needed for as long as we needed right the way through. However, I wouldn't have fancied trying to carve my way around those slower cars on a set of hard compound tyres, so definitely feel like we made the right choice. But I think honestly, with the pace Lando and Charles have got at the moment, P3 was all we were essentially going to be able to get today, as that is not the line at the top of the hill. But Charles Leclerc, after a couple of winless races, wrong place at the wrong time in Canada, messed up his qualifying run, never really got a look in, and then last weekend as well with his first mechanical failure of the season. It is still an alarmingly common thing with these Audi-tuned Mercedes powertrains. They've got a lot of grunt, but I tell you what, they are unstable beasts. As we head around the final couple of corners, though, Charles Leclerc will win the Austrian Grand Prix. Lando Norris comes through for P2, which means as we cross over the halfway stage, the gap down to just a solitary point will come through for P3 with fastest lap, damage limitation, but I really wanted more.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
Well, that might not have been the finest race in history, but there's no question it was a critical win. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of that race, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to our drivers here. They've worked hard to make it up there, and it's great to see them make their way onto the podium now. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. This result then narrows the gap between our championship leader and the rest of the standings. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. They pushed and found some fantastic performance. It was just a pleasure to watch.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The current leaders continue to extend their lead at the top. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, Be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Well, there we are then. Almost perfect weekend for Charles Leclerc. Sprint race victory, main event victory, certainly the result he wanted after last weekend's disappointment. Lando Norris comes through for P2 there, but I mean, yeah, 22nd to 3rd is not bad going on F1 22. We beat out Ricciardo, who does stay ahead of both McLarens there. Gasly, Mick, Valtteri Bottas and Yuki Tsunoda rounding out our top 10. Then no other major surprises. In fact, yeah, everyone but Dan Ticktum even saw it all the way through to the checkered flag. But yeah, like I said, that means championship-wise 1 point between Norris and Leclerc as we get to the halfway stage of the campaign. We are still in P3 there, 41 points back, a 61-point lead over Esteban Ocon, who is still somehow in P4 there. But I mean, yeah, Ocon, Zhou Guanyu, Ricciardo, Mick Schumacher, I mean, even the likes of Red Bull, you'd imagine, are going to be in that fight later on in the campaign. Now, I don't think any movement in the current championship order after this weekend, and constructors-wise, they're still with a good, healthy 66-point lead over Ferrari as well. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed. We'll be returning to La Castellet next weekend, of course, the return of the French Grand Prix here in the My Team career mode. But yeah, make sure you subscribe, hit follow, like as well, and of course, yeah, we'll be back very, very soon with more Formula 1 content. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.